information is valuable. Think before you share. The time brought to you by the Office of the Information Commissioner is
8 o'clock.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Every dream conquered is another dream gained. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction. 'Cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people never say we are march up the dance. Oh, what a feeling! Don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got a spark, don't put it down. Shine your lights on.
CVM Sports, brought to you by Pepsi.
All right, the other thing, big talking point at the World Cup is the heat, the hydration breaks. Is FIFA using it for commercialization because some commercial breaks are being played? Or is it just a legitimate hydration break that's needed for the safety of players? Let's take a look at this video.
Temperatures. It'll be hot at most of the tournaments, but the one game we should keep our eye on is Uruguay and Spain in Guadalajara on June 26th, where researchers estimated a 70% chance of it being so hot it'll impact performance. That's 37 percentage points higher than it would have been without climate change. 60 professional soccer players from around the world asked FIFA to update its heat guidelines before this year's World Cup. FIFA mandated 3-minute hydration break, but the players also asked FIFA to drop fossil fuel sponsors and change game schedules to reduce travel and fossil fuel footprints. FIFA didn't do that one.
When this World Cup was being announced, they said they were going to have hydration breaks. The number one thing FIFA said is they're not going to play ads.
Yes.
They said
during the pee break. Yes.
Yeah, they said it's not about ads.
Yes, it's not about ads.
They said that.
It was about the welfare of the players.
What are we watching now? Yesterday, people all over the world have complained.
We're missing.
They complained that not only have they played ads, which they're not supposed to do, right? But also the ads have been forcing the game to delay. So
because the
yesterday the teams were ready to kick off again. And the ref made them hold the game because they were waiting for Fox to come back.
Lying. They're like timeouts now. They use them to make money.
1 in 4 games will likely take place in dangerous.
So we should keep an eye on that Uruguay-Spain game on June 26th then, because they're saying that that game could be so hot that it could affect player performance. So we keep an eye on that. The ads thing though, I tell you, that kind of threw me off, Coach, because, a couple of games I didn't catch from the start, and then, I get home and I switch my TV to the game and I'm seeing an ad and I'm thinking, where's the game? It can't be half time yet. So I check my watch and I'm saying, but it's still in the middle of the first half. There's an ad playing, but, it's about commercialization, it's about monetization, and FIFA has now, essentially, in my mind, turned football into basketball because it's no longer 2 halves, it was 4 quarters.
COVID would have taught us a lot of things, and you could not imagine cricket being played or football being played without fans or spectators, or you standing or line long as probably 50 meters down the road. You could not imagine something like that. Person's waiting. The world has evolved, things are changing, and it's all about making and generating monies. 48 teams are there. FIFA has given loads of monies to some of these countries, and they're actually trying to find creative ways of getting back some funds in their coffers. And so I think
FIFA has a whole lot of money now.
No, we are not used to it.
Money.
No,
they're going to make profits.
We are not used to it. Yeah. And I think it is new to us watching football versus basketball. And I think that is creating some of the problem.
You're right, because I don't know, call me a purist, call me an old timer, but the hydration break thing throw me off sometime, man.
Yeah, it
throw me off sometime. I feel like I was like, why is there a break in the middle of the first half? Why is there a break in the middle of the second half? What am I? Am I watching football or basketball? What's this?
Fan Central Extra Time brought to you by Pepsi.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
We are in the hurricane season, and it's important to be prepared for anything that can happen. A big part of that is having conversations with your children about the hurricane season and what to expect. Counseling psychologist Jody Lee is here to walk us through the process.
We start with the definition of what the hurricane is. Then you go into what are some of the features of a hurricane, what are some of the things that you might experience during a hurricane. So flooding, depending on where you are, consistent rain, heavy downpours, lightning, thunder, and you get from them how they would feel about those things. Try to reassure them that we are handling the situation, and so by handling it means we have a family safety plan. So having a family safety plan would look like knowing the extent of preparation you need to do. So if you need to fix some things on your house, or if we need to get materials to batten down windows, check that roofs are okay, not leaking, find a particular area in the house that would be a safe zone. So finding things that we will need to put into a safety plan. So, the basics, water, canned food, making sure that our documents are sealed. So you would go through that entire process with them, and you involve them as much as possible. But what we want them to know is okay if you are worried, but there are things that we can do to make sure that you are safe. And so, one of those is to make sure that we are tuning into the radio and listening to the broadcast from reputable news sources. But with that also, you need to be careful as to how much you allow them to get that information. So it's important to maybe filter the information through yourself first. So you listen, you limit their access to it, and then you give them the information that they need in the moment, rather than them having access to all of this information, and it might feel like a little bit too much, a little too big, and they get overwhelmed. In preparation for a hurricane, you say to them, your devices might not work, and we might have to be preserving batteries, so we're going to go old school and we're going to play some games, or we're going to find little scavenger hunts around the house, but find things to make it interesting for them, find ways to help them to distract, but not just be distracted, but also to be connected to you so that they have that sense of security. The other thing to recognize with children, particularly the younger ones, is that their anxiety might come out through repetition. Try not to be irritated. Try not to think, all right, they're not listening and they're not paying attention. This is them trying to get security for themselves. This is them trying to make sure that the answer doesn't change, so that means things are going to be okay.
It is also important to have all your emergency numbers of government agencies, families, and friends that you can reach out to. It's best to place these at a position where the entire family is able to see them, or have the numbers on speed dial so you can make contact easily.
Tune in to Lead Story, weekdays at 6 p.m. Hosted by Jody Ann Quarry.
Hi, I am Candy Pang.
What a guan?
What a guan?
That a guan, pa.
What a guan? What a guan?
What a guan? Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. on CVM TV.
And that's a guan, pa. What a guan?
Every dream conquered is another dream gained. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction. 'Cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people them I say we are mash up the dance. Oh, what a feeling! Don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got a spark, don't be the dark. Shine your lights
Fan Central Extra Time is brought to you by the Pepsi Football Nation, where fans make the rules. Football, better with Pepsi. We also want to thank Courts, bringing value home.
Full up, match link up, Fan Central full up. Me team win, every bad cover lift up. Them a silly billy, me carry real bad team, not a illy billy. Now bandwagon to the thing, now bother switchy switchy. Represent for your team to the nitty gritty. School silly billy, now bother tell me about your team and them that make the semi. Game sweet, girl I call it sugar daddy.
now bring it like you mean it, just like you mean it. Dale, olvida lo que vale, juega como tú sabes, como tú sabes. And then just
Look it down. Suffocate. 3 lions hunt.
Yeah, of course, the Barmy Army. The 3 lions are dancing. I'm not sure why I saw Phil Foden in that video just now. He wasn't a part of that victory today. But we're going to dive into that and more right here on your favorite show, to get all your World Cup digest, all your World Cup discussions, because the full-time whistle has gone and we're now into extra time, but not just any extra time. It's Fan Central Extra Time, and as you know, we are powered by Pepsi. And not only are we powered by Pepsi, guess what? We have an official food sponsor, and guess who that is? Any guesses? Mothers. So we will get our lovely meals from Mothers and wash it down with a Pepsi in the night, yeah. In the night. Come on, there's so much for us to dive in here today on Fan Central Extra Time. And trust me, I am ready, rearing to go, because I think it's fair to say my jersey jumping trends have taken me to the English team. They had a very impressive win, as I mentioned earlier, and they're the 3 Lions, of course. We're going to discuss their performance amongst others, including what many persons believe was a very disappointing performance or a follow-up. You know, Kylian Mbappe yesterday, Erling Haaland yesterday, Lionel Messi yesterday, ticking all the boxes. And when the lights were the brightest, another GOAT seemed to have a rope around his neck today. We're going to dive into that, of course. I'm Kimani O'Sullivan on Fan Central Extra Time. Thank you for joining us. I will be joined by our usual football guru, Coach Jermaine Thomas, in a few, but I'm not by myself, because we have our trusty former reggae boy on Zoom. You know him, you love him. He's none other than Tyrone Marshall. And guess what? He's wearing pink. I wonder if that's a follow-up based on that conversation we had yesterday, Tyrone. Is that the case?
Absolutely. Very comfortable in the pink. I'm standing out bright. Yeah, ready to shine.
Yeah, and we know we watched that video yesterday and it said, you know, athletes perform better, footballers perform better with bright colors on their feet. You've seemed to
100%.
taking it to another level because you have the bright color on your chest.
There you go. Excellent. Excellent.
Okay, cool. So I'm looking forward to your analysis. We can't have analysis though without our resident A-lister, and of course I mentioned A-lister loosely, but you've heard of Murphy's Law. How about Murphy's List? Because fame or shame is with Rashida Murphy, who is also in the fan corner. You can look out for that later on. And Rashida has a lot to discuss as well because she gave a bit of a controversial take yesterday for her A-list. And you see her waving to the screen. Don't let that smile trick you because she's very controversial. But she knows ball. She knows ball. So let's just get into the scores from today. These fixtures that we experience, we've digested, of course. I mentioned the Portugal game starting us off. Portugal and DR Congo. 1-1 between those two, João Neves and Yohan Wissa on the score sheet. England, yeah, they dispatched of Breadbag FC or Breadbag Nation. Many of the Jamaicans refer to them as Croatia. 4-2, emphatic win by Thomas Tuchel's men. Rashford, Bellingham, Harry Kane at the double, and Batarina and Musa for Croatia. And Ghana now have secured that win against Panama. So, of course, the Africans are off the mark. And, of course, we're looking forward to eventually hearing what will come of that Colombia game against Uzbekistan. All right, so we're going to discuss the Portugal game first. Wow, where do we start? When the lights were shone directly in his direction, Cristiano Ronaldo marched out leading the Portuguese team against DR Congo, Tyrone, and it seemed like there are debates about if he got enough support. Was he the problem? Was he given enough service? Was he fed? Does it feel like Ronaldo is being unfairly targeted, Tyrone, given the fact that he's been the larger-than-life figure in the Portuguese team for quite some time? His legs aren't the same, of course. We all know that, as we can see here with the stats. We all know he's not quite himself like he was in the past. But is he taking too much flack for the ineptitude of other players around him, seeing that Lionel Messi, for example, had a lot of support by his Argentinian teammates, and now Ronaldo has been let down? How did you see it?
Yeah, I think you summarized it really well. I think, you know, the difference between Lionel Messi, obviously is the GOAT, but the Argentine, you know, players, they kind of, you know, they're all moving in the same direction. You know, they know they're a big cohorts. You know, they want to work together, and they know Messi has the quality, right? So they're going to do whatever it takes. They're going to work for him. I didn't think that was the case for Portugal. You know, Cristiano, obviously, he's bigger than life, but there's also some big personalities on the team, right? And so I think those egos come into play sometimes. Like, who wants a ball? There's only one ball, and it can't be shared. You know, everyone can't have it and try to do their best, right? So I think the difference between Messi and Ronaldo is that his teammates want to feed him the ball, want to give it to him, where Cristiano, he had to go and look for the ball, you know, and they kind of go around him sometimes, right? And I think that's where he gets thrown back into the midfield. And as a lone 9, you know, once he drops into the midfield, there's no one up top to be that point of the attack, right? So that's how you find he struggles a bit. And it's, you know, like I said, it's unfair, but he still has quality, but his teammates need to do a better job, finding him in those, in those final third areas to score the goals.
Yeah, well said, Coach. I'm just going to bring Rashida in to chime in on the Portugal DR Congo game. We haven't touched on Congo just yet, but from a Portuguese perspective, Rashida, how did you see the performance today?
Just to follow
up on what you asked, Kimani, in regards to Ronaldo and if it's unfair, the pressure that he has to hold. I think that's what we ask of the superstars. So there's no such thing as too much pressure or he's not being able to take that and take the responsibility. But what I will say is Portugal's problem is not solely Cristiano Ronaldo. I think it starts at the head with Roberto Martinez heading any team. We saw it with Belgium. They were not a very good... The team had the talent, but in terms of his setup, he stifled the talent.
Yeah,
and we saw that we saw that with Portugal, and so we can't solely say it's Ronaldo. I'd love to say, you know, hang up the boots, retire, but no. Martinez really left his team out there to suffer today.
You know what, Rashida and Tyrone, and I'm going to ask our director just to put me on screen for what I'm about to say. Cristiano Ronaldo has taken a lot of criticism in the past when he was the main man in the team. Many persons still believe that he's the main man. But I will bring to question why many persons have Portugal as one of the major favorites coming into this World Cup. And if I ask them that question, Tyrone, Rashida, chances are the answer isn't Cristiano Ronaldo. The answer is the players like Bruno Fernandes, the players like Vitinha, the players like João Neves, and the depth that they have across the team. Now, why is it that, Tyrone, why is it that when it comes down to it, you have a player who Manchester United fans have crowned as the best chance creator in world football, the best midfielder in world football, depending on who you ask. And he's been carrying Manchester United on his back all year round. Yet still, when it comes down to it, Bruno Fernandes was inept in this game today. Was that due to, and they'll argue, well, the team plays better without Ronaldo. What's the take? It can't be Ronaldo is a problem, or is it Bruno Fernandes? How do you summarize that?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's a difficult one. And I'm not a big Bruno Fernandes fan, to be honest, right? Because if you see when Bruno Fernandes played, when Cristiano was there, he wanted the limelight, right? When Cristiano wanted to take a free kick, he wanted to step up and take it like, no, it's my turn. You know, and so, you know, those little attitude that he had toward Cristiano, I think is carried over into the national team as well. You know, I think he wants a spotlight on him. I think he wants Cristiano to step away, you know, and that's just my personal opinion, right? Because again, like I mentioned, egos, you know, it's when you're amongst those players, you know, they have big egos and everyone wants their time in the spotlight. And I think he think that I deserve it. No. You know, and I think that's why you're having this issue where, you know, Bruno doesn't show up, or, you know, Cristiano is struggling, you know, because of particularly, you know, in big games, I would say, you know, because he wants to shine. And I think that's why you're having that issue right now.
Okay, I hear that, and it doesn't help when, as Rashida alluded to, Roberto Martinez is hell-bent upon playing Bernardo Silva as a right winger for some reason, as being one of the best midfielders in the world. But here we have the list of oldest players at the 2026 World Cup. So we have Craig Gordon there from Scotland. He's the oldest, 43 years and 162 days. And in second, Cristiano Ronaldo. So Portugal is basically playing with Unk out there. So the second oldest to start a game, right? Cristiano Ronaldo, that is. So obviously, Unk is going to need a lot of support, right? And that's what the young people call old people now, Unk.
Yeah.
Right? So it's important that, as you mentioned, Tyrone, the team around him is firing on all cylinders. So it can't be a case where, Rashid, I'm going to bring you in here real quick. Of course, Cristiano is very old. Right? Still has quality. We saw it in the Saudi League, if you watch the Saudi League. And they won the Nations League as well. So, is it unfair? It feels unfair this time around. Last World Cup, fine. But this time around, it seems unfair.
I wouldn't say unfair. As I said, the criticism is fine. He's the superstar. Persons are looking to him to lead the team, and so he should. But when the odds are stacked against him, and this is the thing, so much hype is around Portugal on paper. What about Portugal on the field? And as I mentioned, a big part of it is how they're set up. And as you mentioned, Bernardo Silva is one of the examples. Also, the phasing out of the older players.
Yeah, you mentioned it. All right, so no offense to Congo. We've been harping about Portugal DR Congo is where we would love to be, and trust me, I think they've acquitted themselves really well at the tournament thus far. We just want to talk about them, Tyrone. Johan Wissa. I'm a Newcastle fan, Tyrone, just in case you didn't know. And
Yeah.
I was onlooking, and I felt so slighted by that performance by Johan Wissa, because where was that all season? I didn't see that in a Newcastle jersey, but DR Congo, he was their most threatening player, and they looked a serious team against Portugal.
Yeah, the Geordies, right?
Yeah.
I thought DR Congo did a really good job of kind of, absorbing the pressure early. They know they were going to be underneath it, right? And they did a really good of just kind of, settling in. And once I think Portugal scored, and they're like, all right, we can breathe now. We're going to be able to, make mistakes, but, that's out of the way. I think then they started finding a little rhythm, right? Start to hit Portugal on the transition. Because again, they wanted to get that possession base in the final third. And what that does create is the space in behind the defense. And one little turnover and boom, they're off to the races. So I thought Congo, their game plan going in actually, really executed well as the game progressed, and it, they end up getting the result at the end of the day. So really good job for them, and, congrats on the result.
Yeah, Rashida, they made history with their first ever goal at a World Cup, as well as their first ever point. And it makes me wonder, I don't think that was the Congo that played against us, but that was a brilliant performance, wasn't it, Rashida?
I mean, they kind of proved a point that they deserve to be there. They would have beaten some very big teams, Nigeria for one, even in the African qualifiers. So that performance really proved, and African teams throughout the tournament has solidified why the 48-team extension made sense.
Yeah, it's a good call. I mean, Congo, they seem like they're live in this group, and this group is very tough. Because, Portugal is one problem, Colombia is another, and Uzbekistan can be a wild card. I mean, they're coached by one of the greatest centre-backs ever, in Fabio Cannavaro. So we're looking forward to seeing what that matchup will bring. But before we leave the Congo, Portugal discussion, we're gonna, let's just segue right into the Barmy Army, the English victory against Croatia. Thomas Tuchel making a lot of waves in terms of his team selections, and he's seemed to, in many people's opinions, started the best number 10 in the team in Jude Bellingham, and it paid off, because as you can see here, 20 shots for England, 12 on target, 54% possession to Croatia's 11 shots, 5 shots on target, and 46% possession amongst other things. Croatia didn't make it easy though, Tyrone. It was a very, very nip and tuck matchup, and I tell you what, that was a very inspired performance by England. It didn't look like a Gareth Southgate coach team at all.
No, not at all. I think Thomas Tuchel came out, like you mentioned, he's going to do it his way. Not going to listen to the crowd, and, obviously his selection that he had, to start the game, because I was looking for Rashford, I was looking for Saka, and we didn't see those guys in the lineup. However, what you did have is Jude Bellingham on the pitch and Harry Kane, who for me, again, Harry Kane is kind of defining that forward role where he's dropping back deep and leaving that space wide open and leaving the wingers wide to run in between. And again, when you have Pickford, who is very good with his feet, those actions are going to be key as they move in the later rounds, because, again, he can pick you out on the fly. And with the speed on the wing and Bellingham and Harry Kane dropping in those pockets, man, they're going to be a really hard team to defend. So, my hats off to the English, to Thomas Tuchel and his game plan today. Excellent job. And it was great watching. I thought they were really efficient. Like I mentioned to you in previous interviews, the biggest thing that I look for, right, is their touches inside the box. And they had a lot of touches in the opponent's box. And that, for me, is going to be, the key to England being successful as the tournament goes on.
Well said, Tyrone. Rashida, quickly, Thomas Tuchel saved himself from a lot of tabloid headlines because the English media is very vicious. The defense, though, he went with John Stones instead of Mark Guéhi. They conceded 2 goals. They looked a bit frail at the back. Any takes on the defense, or did you think Croatia is just a decent side?
Croatia is actual more than decent. They're good. They're very good. They just lack up top, you know, to get the goals and to outscore another team. I was kind of concerned for the defense, but I trust Thomas Tuchel. I'm a big Thomas Tuchel stan, by the way, so I trust and know that whenever he puts out a lineup, he has a plan, and you can see throughout the game that it worked. John Stones wouldn't be many persons' number one pick, but again, this is something for them to learn along the way, and he has the talent pool to pick from, so he's never going to get it wrong and stay wrong. He'll have the chance to, you know, make up for it.
Yeah, he definitely got it correctly, and I know many Jamaican fans were standing by with some of these to wave at England's demise if that were the case. Of course, if you're looking at this, you can see the patterns. But anyway, we go to a break because we're still here on Fan Central Extra Time, and we have more discussions coming up. And as you can expect, and as you know, this segment was brought to you by Pepsi Football Nation, where fans make the rules and football is better with Pepsi. We'll be right back.
Represent for your team to the nitty-gritty. School silly billy. Nobody tell me about your team and them to make the semi. Game sweet, girl I call it sugar daddy. CVM TV for everybody.
Welcome to the Pepsi Football Nation. Rule number 1, it's called football, not soccer.
Rule number 2, they should get rid of VAR.
No. Every decision should go to VAR.
Write this down. Pepsi should be the official drink of the nation.
I love that. They won't agree on anything.
That's where Rule 100 kicks in. Everything gets settled on the pitch. What about you? What rule would you want?
Start your journey with a Jane Bank Small Business Loan, with small business loans with as little as $10,000 and up to $4 million.
The time is 8:30.
It's game on at Quartz. Spend $150,000 on credit purchases or $250,000 on cash at Quartz from May 1, 2026 to June 20, 2026 to be automatically entered for a chance to win one of 3 smart TVs to watch the matches in style. First place gets a 98-inch TCL Smart TV. Second place a 55-inch. And third place a 43-inch. Score big and upgrade your game day vibes when you shop at Quartz, bringing value home. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Conditions apply.
Tune in to Lead Story, weekdays at 6 p.m. Hosted by Jody Ann Quarry.
Every dream conquered is another dream gained. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction, 'cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard, and the music keeps on playing, and the people that I say we are mash up the night. Oh, what a feeling! Don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got a spark, don't fit it dark. Shine your lights
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
When the Lala gonna have to full up, match link up, fan central full up. Me team win, every bad cover lift up. Them a silly billy, switchy switchy. Represent for your team to the nitty gritty. School.
You've heard of the Viking clap before, but I've never heard of the Viking row. Of course, the Vikings, they're the Norwegian fans. They're enjoying themselves at the showpiece after that 4-1 win against their opponents. I believe their opponents were Iraq, if memory serves me correctly. So yeah, kudos to them. Welcome back to Fan Central Extra Time, powered by Pepsi. And I'm almost approaching my cooling break, and I'll be taking a sip of my ice cold chilled Pepsi. And yeah, you can bet that when it comes to Pepsi, the fans make the rules, and football is better with Pepsi. So let's get into it. We want to take a dive into Group L and give you the state of play. England, as we said, Thomas Tuchel's side at the top of the table there with their 4-2, giving them a 2 goal difference. And Ghana in second. Of course, they got that victory against Panama, and Croatia losing to England. So they have some work to do in Group L. And as it relates to Group K, that is the Portugal group. DR Congo is at the top, of course, Portugal in second, and Colombia and Uzbekistan are yet to play. They're playing soon. All right, we spoke about many persons' greatest of all time, but let's talk about the actual greatest of all time, and that's coming from a Ronaldo fan, by the way. Let's talk about Lionel Messi and him running riot in Kansas City yesterday against Algeria. We have a few statistics that we must make you privy to, because that's what we do here on Fan Central Extra Time. We have all the facts, we have all the figures, and you can sit back and relax, grab a Pepsi as we dive into Lionel Messi's just exceptional performances coming into the World Cup and also on opening day. So he made his 200th appearance for Argentina. That in and of itself is a testament to his longevity. The little magic man just continues to capture imaginations, capture dreams. The most goals in World Cup history. He's tied with Miroslav Klose, a German legend. I think he's tied on 16, I believe. Right. So Lionel Messi, he's on 16 goals, tied with Miroslav Klose. And yeah, for a guy that has won everything there is to win in world football, that comes to his fingertips, he continues to make history. He's the oldest player to ever score a World Cup hat-trick. And, fun fact, guess whose record he broke? Wow, how poetic. Cristiano Ronaldo was the previous holder of that record, and Lionel Messi saw it fit to blow him out of the water, so to speak. So, yeah, the stats keep coming. Most goal contributions in World Cup history. He's not only a scorer of goals, but he's a creator as well. And these numbers are just staggering when you think about it. So here we have the all-time World Cup scoring list, and you have Lionel Messi tied with Miroslav Klose. R9, Coach Thomas's favorite player. He's there on 15, but look who is creeping up. Look who is crawling up. None other than Kylian Mbappe. He is in 4th place, and he has 14, tied with Gerd Müller. And I wonder if Kylian is feeling a bit frisky and he wants to take the top spot in this competition. He seems up to the task, it must be said, and he's been really, really up to it. So Rashida, we've been talking about Lionel Messi for quite some time, from yesterday night coming into today. Wow, just sum up the majestic character and the majestic talent that is Lionel Messi.
I mean, you described it in one word, longevity. He made his debut in 2006. It's 2026. It's been a while. You know, he has done 6 World Cups, and throughout all of them, whether they were successful or not, Lionel Messi has stood there on top always. Might I add, as a Germany fan, Miroslav did this 16 goals in just 3 World Cups. I'm just saying.
Bars.
Also, Kylian Mbappe is gonna outscore by the end of this World Cup also.
That's a good take. I mean, I'm not mad at it. It must be said though, Messi, and I hope the Messi fans don't assemble and get their pitchforks for me. I'm going to say this, and I want to look squarely in the camera when I say this. Lionel Messi should not be level with Miroslav Klose right now, because Lionel Messi should have been shown a red card. And I know the social media viewers and those online are going to crucify me for that, but we all, if you want to objectively analyze the football game, objectively talk the football, he should have been sent off. Nonetheless, he wasn't, and he delivered as he usually does. Somebody who usually delivers when they must is one Rashida Murphy. I mentioned you're familiar with Murphy's Law. Well, let's hear Murphy's list, because Rashida has her top 3 players from today's match day. Rashida, over to you, and I hope you don't do any shenanigans over there.
So as Murphy's Law says, what will go wrong will go wrong. There's no wrong players on my list, guys. So number 1, I want to put Wissa as the best player today. I think you mentioned him in a Newcastle shirt. If you've watched him enough time for DR Congo, you know that when he puts on that shirt, he rises above everything, and he's their talisman, and he shows up for his country. And he was very vital in them qualifying for this World Cup, and to also score their first goal in 52 years. That's just insane. So he goes on the list. I am sad to say on national television, guys, that Harry Kane has made my list. And it is only because he is tied as England's all-time goal scorer with Gary Lineker. Better player than Kane, by the way. But can't can't ignore that. You know, I must say a penalty is a penalty. Whatever, he had to retake it. Cool, fine, we'll give him that. The second goal was just absolutely beautiful. He's not winning the Golden Boot, I will say that. And last but not least, Petar Musa. He was, I think, one of the underrated players today. Yes, his team was on the losing end, but it's his debut World Cup. He scores a goal. He plays in the MLS, and he's used to the stadium. He's used to that environment, and so he announced himself on the World Cup. Can't wait to see more of him.
All right, I hear that list, and according to Murphy's Law,
it didn't go wrong.
I think he did well, Rashida. Yes. I personally wouldn't have Harry Kane in second today. I'd put him above Wissa. No,
put him last.
I'd put him above Wissa. And that's not because I'm still upset with Johan Wissa, because that season had Newcastle finishing mid-table, which we shouldn't have. But Harry Kane was really making things happen for England. We've seen him drop deep for Bayern a lot of times. He did it for England as well, and he was just running the game from the striker position. So that's the only change I'd make to the list. But it was a great list, Rashida. So I think it's fair to say that you get a pass today. Yeah, you deserve an ice-cold Pepsi. But stick around, because we have more Fan Central Extra Time coming up. Stick around for more analysis. Trust me, the analysis is coming. Don't move a muscle. We'll be right back.
Congo ezali makasi. When the Lala gonna taffy full up, match link up, Fan Central full up. Me team win, every bad cover lift up. Them a silly billy, me carry real bad team that a illy billy. Now bad.
Welcome to the Pepsi Football Nation.
Rule number 1, it's called football, not soccer. Rule number 2, they should get rid of VAR.
No. Every decision should go to VAR.
Write this down. Pepsi should be the official drink of the nation.
I love that. They won't agree on anything.
That's where Rule 100 kicks in. Everything gets settled on the pitch. What about you? What rule would you want? Welcome to the Pepsi Football Nation.
Rule number 1, it's called football, not soccer.
Rule number 2, they should get rid of VAR.
No. Every decision should go to VAR.
Write this down. Pepsi should be the official drink of the nation.
I love that. They won't agree on anything.
That's where Rule 100 kicks in. Everything gets settled on the pitch. What about you? What rule would you want?
It's game on at Quartz. Spend $150,000 on credit purchases or $250,000 on cash at Quartz from May 1, 2026 to June 20, 2026 to be automatically entered for a chance to win one of 3 smart TVs to watch the matches in style. First place gets a 98-inch TCL Smart TV. Second place a 55-inch. And third place a 43-inch. Score big and upgrade your game day vibes when you shop at Quartz, bringing value home. Authorized under Section 58(3) of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Conditions apply.
When the Lala go net fi full up, match link up, fan central full up. Me team win, every bad cover lift up. Them a silly billy, me carry real bad team that a illy billy. Now bad one.
Hey babe, I'm in the bathroom working on the toilet. Boom, boom, boom. Of course, you know, as men, we kind of have to get our alone time some way, somehow. And I think that's a very creative way to look like you're still busy while also enjoying the beautiful game. We're still here on Fan Central Extra Time. We hope that none of our viewers have to be hiding in the bathroom to enjoy our show. But if you are, you can put the toilet seat down, have a seat, get a Pepsi, no drinking in the bathroom. All right, before I say anything more questionable, let's go right to the playbook because I mentioned that we have the breakdowns, we have the analysis for you, and guess who's here? Jermaine R9 Thomas has sought to join us, and he's by the board ready to break down Harry Kane's Falls 9 shenanigans and also England's attacking prowess. Coach, good to have you here with us.
Hey, night everybody. Today was one of them eventful days. Yes. Very, very eventful. I was really hoping that my bread-colored team could have done something.
Coach, have the bread bag, you know. Have the bread bag.
I was really hoping that, but you know, nonetheless, it never happened. Yeah. But Harry Kane,
what a player!
A masterpiece, and I hope nobody never really knocked Harry tonight. All right, but he was good today. He was good today in his regular number 9 position. But what he did today that was very, very special was him dropping off in the off spaces and then connecting with his midfielders, and then the ball being played out into the wide areas. And that was awesome by Kane. Rashford and Jude and them guys, you know, they really benefited a lot because when Harry dropped deep, naturally a centre half would have followed, and they did follow.
Created a lot of space.
And it left space in behind, and then Jude, Rashford, and the rest run right through. And as a result of that, I thought, England really turned up things a notch against Croatia.
So, Coach, would you say that's probably one of the criticisms when you're comparing Harry Kane and Cristiano Ronaldo? Of course, you can't ask Cristiano to drop off and do what Harry Kane does. But is that like just the difference between the two players in that we saw Cristiano struggling for Portugal to impact the game, but Harry Kane could be able to show that flexible positioning to impact his team?
I mean, two different teams.
Yeah.
With different players. And
Right.
Bruno is there. And if Bruno is there, he's going to be the one that will be finding those passes.
Right.
So I think Christie was hoping that would have happened. Christie, however, his competence level is really at a high level. And he's able, and we would have seen that from Christie. He's one of them flexible players that is more than willing and can drop into these spaces.
He tried it today quite a few times.
Right. But Congo was just overly aggressive in these areas, and they had a nice bank of 5 with 3 central midfielders in front of the 5, and that made it difficult. For Portugal. Chris said on, if you ask me though, a bit too long. Yes, a bit too long. And that is one of the trick and probably one of the difficult ones for the coach. And I'm really hoping...
Coach, you're not saying what I think you're saying, right?
That I'm really hoping that he'll be able to control that dressing room with Christie inside, because you had other players on the bench who could have come on, who a bit younger, some more pace.
Coach, I know you're not talking about Gonzalo Ramos right now, Coach. That's not a good replacement. Let's be real about this.
41.
Okay, he's 41. Fair, Coach. I'm going to defer to your expertise just for now. But Coach, stand by, because we have the fan corner with Rashida Murphy, and she's standing by with someone who probably will give the verdict on whether we should see Ronaldo on the bench. Rashida, who are you over there with?
I'll let him introduce himself. Let the world know who you are, young man.
Hi, I'm Azari Barnett, a displeased Portugal fan.
Displeased?
If you were to ask me about the game, it was hard to watch in terms of, Roberto Martinez's way of attacking prowess, right? I couldn't really find the connections why he had Bruno Fernandes as a deep line playmaker. The question comes around Bernardo Silva on the right hand side. There's so many questions. I can't understand why especially Bernardo Silva, was out on the right hand side.
So Azari, I'm just going to stop here for a second there, because Rashida needs to grill you on some things, and I'm going to allow her. So Rashida, over to you. Deal with it.
Right, boots on the ground, journalism time. All right, so Azari wants to know how much of a Portuguese fan you are, and so it's World Cup edition. I want you to tell us, how many goals did Portugal score in the 2022 World Cup?
That's quite interesting question.
Pull. That's a deep pull.
But as far as I can go, I'm going to think 9.
9, and you're confident with that answer?
I'm going to go with 9.
They went a little bit above 9, so it was 12 goals. Okay. And it leads into who is Portugal's overall all-time goal scorer and what is his record?
It's Ibo, right? You say, is it?
That's what your answer is?
Yeah.
Can you phone a friend? Do you have any lifelines? We have lifelines in the fan.
Okay. It's actually Cristiano Ronaldo with 143 goals.
How could I forget?
We're weeding them out one by one, Kimani. Don't tell me you're a Waganese. All right, we're going to make it more easier. In the last group game, and I know this is a pull, but real fans will remember the heart.
Group game.
Yes.
Okay.
Real fans remember the heartbreak. In 2022, what was the outcome of that match, and what was the scoreline? So who you guys played, and what was the scoreline that sent you packing?
I can't even remember.
Can't remember.
But was it a 1-0?
It's a certain Asian team, last group game, that saw Portugal finish second. Yeah,
South Korea.
South Korea 2-1. All right, so I'm going to make this last one very easy. What's Conseco's first name?
Pardon?
Conceição. Yeah, yes. My Portuguese is bad. I'm sorry. What's his first name?
Some F name.
F name. Don't say any.
Francisco. Is it Francisco?
That's it. So he's not a Waganese.
Him know him thing, man,
Yes.
Rashida. I mean,
It's not bad.
Yeah,
I'm just vexed with Ronaldo. That's why I never remember the all-time.
Yeah. To be honest. Yeah.
So, I know coach actually was alluding to it. As a Portuguese fan, do you think it's going to come to the time where Ronaldo is to be benched? In this World Cup?
In this World Cup?
Right.
Sadly, yes. But the question is, who do you play in the striker role?
I mean, they mentioned Gonzalo Ramos. You guys are trusting him to lead the line?
At the moment, no, because confidence, he's really not there.
And he's young and still hasn't proved himself, right?
For sure, yeah.
So I want to ask, after that game, I know that there's 2 more games that you guys can look towards to, qualify at the group. What's the reaction? Is it the World Cup is still inside? Because I know you guys are probably one of the favorites coming in as the newest team to win it. Is that the site, or you guys are just cruising along? What's your expectation as a fan?
I wouldn't. They said they never said to judge off the first game because Argentina won the last World Cup, and with them losing against Saudi Arabia.
Right.
I'm still confident, but only confident if there are changes.
What type of changes are you looking for?
Okay, so I am strict on the attacking prowess. So I believe if we cannot find a striker, I think we should have a Bruno Fernandes in that false 9, right? Where you can have a lot of movement as it relates to the middle of the park and going centrally. Speaking about the wide players, where that's our strength, as we saw João Neves' goal today, which João Neves is a crashing midfielder. I believe that was really good, and Cristiano Ronaldo drew the 2 defenders, right, which left a space there for João Neves. And I mean, sorry to cut you, but I mean, Bruno Fernandes, he can arrive on the top of the box, and I think he's one of the better strikers of the ball.
Yes, but I must tell you that don't put your hopes in Bruno Fernandes. He only performs in a... So we have a Jaden Virtue who is a Argentina fan, and so the biggest debate that is in world football, who is the GOAT? What do you have to say? Ronaldo, Messi?
I think... No, I know that Cristiano Ronaldo is the GOAT.
So, Mr. Virtue, are you hearing me? You're on the line. Let me hear your take.
Yes. So, he's definitely the GOAT. I believe he makes the ball talk. Every time he steps on the field, he proves his point. Everything that's said bad about him, he always makes his ball talk. He is a leader on and off the field, and he proves it every day that there's no question about if he's the GOAT or not, because it's obvious in the game he plays on club for his national team. He just proves it on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you so much. Any rebuttals on that? Are you disagreeing that Messi is there in contention to be the GOAT?
I mean, he's a world-class player, no doubt about it. My opinion is mine, and his opinion is
right.
one.
Right, love that. All fair in war, right? It's all fair. All right, thank you so much for joining me in the fan corner. Kimani, you look disappointed over there.
Coach, Fan Central Extra Time is a lovely show. Yes. It's a lovely show. I love being here. I love sharing. I love hearing the takes. Coach, I didn't think I would live long enough to hear a Bruno Fernandes false 9 take in a FIFA in a showpiece tournament for Portugal. Azari Barnett, I need to check your papers. Bruno Fernandes false 9, coach. Is that what we're doing?
But that's his opinion, and you can't kill him for that. But
coach, come on, no, coach.
I mean, I don't see him as a false 9, but that's his opinion.
Coach. Azari Barnett, we hear you. But you know what? We're going to give you some time to sip some Pepsi. Maybe the Pepsi can clear your mind, my boss. And of course, this segment was brought to you by Pepsi Football Nation, where fans make the rules. Not Azari Barnett, though. Football is better with Pepsi. And you can also call in, chime in, send your reactions on social media. And if you want to be on the show, just reach out. And we'll do some heavy vetting now, because Azari has ruined it for everybody. But we'll be right back after a break. Stick with us. Extra time. Do you think you know football? Call in then.
When the Lala go net fi full up, match link up, fan central full up. Me team win, every bad cover lift up. Them a silly billy, me carry real bad team that a illy billy. Now bandwagon to the thing, now bother switchy. Represent for your team to the nitty gritty.
Welcome to the Pepsi Football Nation.
Rule number 1, it's called football, not soccer.
Rule number 2, they should get rid of VAR.
No. Every decision should go to VAR.
Write this down. Pepsi should be the official drink of the nation.
I love that. They won't agree on anything.
That's where Rule 100 kicks in. Everything gets settled on the pitch. What about you? What rule would you want?
Imagine if I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Prevention is critical. That's why I recommend Colgate Total.
It's 15 times more effective at fighting the root cause of oral health problems. Prevent problems before they start.
Switchy. Represent for your team to the nitty gritty. School silly billy.
They are watch some World Cup. Kids are up on them tablets. While they were asleep, there be some Crown Royal and KFC. Oh, my life nice.
Wow, Warren Weir, man, he's enjoying life. No track and field, it's the biggest show on earth. It's the greatest show on earth. The World Cup. And wow, he's enjoying it. Wifey asleep, kids on their tablets. And I don't know which team he supports though, but he seemed happy. So I presume he's an England fan maybe. Or Argentina, probably.
Yeah, his interview would normally go for Messi.
Oh, yeah, you could be right. Yeah, you could be right, coach. I mean, maybe we should get Warren Weir on the show. That sounds like a plan. Producer, phone him up. We need to get him on Fan Central Extra Time. But it's time to go to social media because there's a lot of discussion there and a lot of content for us to go through. We're just going to begin with, and I believe our producers have a bit of a surprise for us on set. So let's see what they produce first. Yeah, it's about the hydration breaks. The hydration breaks have been somewhat of a sore point for some. And for others, it's just, doesn't really matter. But maybe there's another interesting angle that we haven't been privy to. Let's check it out.
Might have broken football. At the very least, have changed it for the purposes of this World Cup. And it's all to do with these hydration breaks. Because if you've been watching so far, you will have noticed the way in which they have changed the game. You just haven't been able to prove that until right now. Because journalist Yash Thakur, she's done the incredibly important work of taking the momentum graphs that we all know and love that show possession, territory, chances, dominance, all that good stuff. And she's added now where the hydration breaks come into those. So you can see exactly the impact they're having on a game. And more often than not, if a team is enjoying a period of dominance or finally getting on top, you drop a hydration break on them and that is over. Ivory Coast versus Ecuador. The Ivorians are comfortable. There's a hydration break. It all flips. Japan versus Netherlands. It all flips on the hydration break. Brazil versus Morocco. It all flips on the hydration break. Germany versus Curacao. I'm not saying that Curacao were going to win that game. They'd probably still get absolutely battered regardless. But just as they were getting a good spell in that game, hydration break, it all flips and Germany are out of sight by half-time. Now, don't get me wrong, I think once we get to the latter stages and all these games are against fairly evenly matched teams, this will be a really interesting way to play these games of football, this whole 4 quarters thing. But the reality is, this is a fundamental change to the way the game is played, and it's been brought in for no other reason than to show you and to show me more adverts. And I think that is probably...
Let him cook. Let him cook. Coach, I have some statistics for you. 24 goals have been scored after hydration breaks at this tournament. 24 goals. 12 coming in the first half, 12 coming in the second half after the hydration breaks.
Very interesting. Like anything else, anything new will cause changes, it can affect changes, and we are seeing where, based on research, that after the breaks, we're conceding more goals. Our teams are conceding, are scoring more goals. Now, how do we in a changing world adapt to changes? How do we? And if this is the way the organizers are going to say, we want to get some additional ads in, to get some additional funds based on what is going on, then how do we know as footballing countries, as teams, deal with this? Hard, difficult, because momentum stop. Oftentimes hard, it's very hard to regain, hard to restart. And coaches can use those tactical breaks. And if you want to look at it this way now, FIFA would have introduced some rules in recent times that
are against time wasting.
Against time wasting. No, are we now going back full circle to indirect
taking back that time to do adverts?
Our coach is now allowed to make tactical changes and to give tactical instructions.
That's interesting.
During these breaks. So, flip side, good way to look at it. Tough one though.
That's an interesting take, coach, and we're going to go to Rashida in the fan corner. Speaking of fans, right before we go to Rashida, we want to big up young Virtue, who was our caller just now. It's actually his birthday, and we want to big him up on his strong. They call it the Earth Strong. We want to big you up on your birthday, young Virtue. Thanks for calling in, and hopefully we can have you on the show at some point. That's Jaden Virtue. Big up yourself, my bro. Yeah, man, of course. Rashida, hydration breaks. Is football becoming, and I asked you this recently, is football becoming somewhat like the NBA, somewhat like the NFL, where these things happen? But of course, we're talking about the goals though, the breaking of momentum, and Virgil van Dijk actually alluded to it in that Japan game.
I mean, it does feel like an American sport, as we talked about in the earlier shows. But what I will say is with the hydration breaks is it's a tactical switch up for the coaches. They get to address the players and address what is going wrong, and then you see changes are being made in the game. And sometimes it's a bit unfair to other teams who necessarily don't have that leverage to tweak as well, but both teams now get that. But there's a good and a bad in it, and as I said, the negative is the constant ad for the fans and also to the competition, but also for the players, because some of these stadiums, they have AC, they're well, cool throughout.
And
so are these breaks really necessary? So we're not disputing that they should deserve breaks, because in the Qatar World Cup, they were called cooling breaks, not hydration breaks. I know they got a little 5 minutes to just drink some water and go back out. This feels extended and a little bit too much.
Yeah, I wonder if it will get to schoolboy football at some point, and maybe Pepsi can run in on a few. Tyrone Marshall is here with us. Tyrone, you are a player at the highest level. Give your take on the hydration breaks and the breaking of momentum, or just the jeopardy involved with it.
Yeah, I think, and I mentioned before, with all the new changes and rules, that there's going to be some changes that are going to cause some momentum shift, or going to cause some controversy, and this could be one of them, right? Because yes, if it's hot, you need a hydration break. However, you're playing in Dallas, AT&T Arena. It's cool in there, so you don't need a hydration break. And going back to the game against Morocco when they played Brazil, I thought that hydration break came just in time for Brazil, to switch up the momentum for them. So, these are controversial moments that obviously, hopefully at the end of the tournament, FIFA take a look at this again and maybe have to go back to the drawing board and, take it out. However, these are also moments for coaches to readjust and know that, hey, I have 20, 22 minutes to see what the opponent is going to do. And maybe, hey, we can change it up a bit and see if we can come out. If we're behind, this is what we do. If we're ahead, how can we make that adjustment to make sure we keep that lead going into halftime as opposed to wait until halftime to make those adjustments?
Yeah, and Pablo Daniel WC, he says, are you going to complain every hydration break? And the people say, of course we are, because the break in momentum can be to the detriment of your team. Coach, I just want to ask you especially, I know Tyrone is a coach as well, but I'm going to ask you, isn't this a coach's dream though? You can, gather as much information from those early parts of the game, and then you can adjust to what the opponent is doing and win the game. Isn't that a plus for you?
Of course it is. And any coach would love this. But I'm thinking that, as Tyrone mentioned earlier, FIFA is going to be looking at it and they are going to be making some adjustments to it. But football poses several challenges and you'd have to be quick enough to adjust or readjust to changes. And I'm just thinking that instead of complaining, even though research would have shown that, we're conceding some goals after. No. What can we do? How can we prevent some of these goals from scoring?
Yeah, I just want to get Azari's take really quickly, because Azari, there's so much analytics now with football. We just heard those statistics about goals after the hydration breaks. Does it feel like football is becoming just too much when it comes to information? The margins becoming so thin. Teams looking for advantages in every way possible, and then this becoming another thing for coaches and players to deal with. Is football is the game gone, or is it getting to the point where it's gone?
I wouldn't say it's gone, but I would believe that it's taking a different turning point, not the turning point that many of us would accept. But as it relates to the hydration break, there's good and bad, as you mentioned, with the momentum being broken and bringing into the other teams advantage. Also, it is good for genuine hydration breaks. I don't really have much of a problem. Well, as a viewer, it's quite annoying.
Yeah, it's a sore point, and I tell you what, it feels like, Coach, this might be a weird hypothesis by me, but I'm just going to throw it out there. Could these mandatory hydration breaks, and given the fact that football knowledge and football data has been consumed by world football, could that be the reason why so many of these underdog teams have been managing to trump so many of the top teams, where the coach can get some extra words in terms of thwarting their plans for the game?
Is it, honestly speaking, Kiman, I would not want you to go down that road, because I believe the lower teams have been doing so well. Before hydration break, they would have been playing really well. The organization, their structure, they have been very disciplined. They have been fighting. So I would not want to put that against them, and I would not want that to come into the question.
That's fair.
Right.
That's fair, Coach. That's a good take. And when we further analyze the change of the beautiful game and the marketing behind it, when you talk about the halftime shows now, there's a halftime show at the greatest show on earth now. I think we have a video to show on that. The final will be having a halftime show, and let's see what they have for us on socials.
Event. Like, I have watched every World Cup final in the last 20 years.
Wow.
And never once did I think to myself, you know what we need? Some dancing. Some dancing at halftime will make this experience that much better. The people who are fans of football, okay, are going to watch this sporting event regardless of what you you know, like people will miss work. People have left their spouses and children behind to watch the World Cup final. It does not need any spicing.
Same thing be said for the Super Bowl. Like the Super Bowl, the halftime show is a major feature. And the people who love the football probably don't necessarily care about the halftime show, but it's obviously done something for it. So couldn't you make the same argument with soccer?
No, you can, because the Super Bowl is watched by a very tiny group of people. The World Cup final is watched by the entire world. And also, the people who don't care are the only ones who are celebrating this. The people who don't care about the sport are the ones who are like, yes, I want to see BTS. You know where you can watch BTS? At a BTS concert. Well, they don't need extra.
I don't know, Tyrone. I feel like depending on who's performing at the halftime show, I love football, but if one of my favorite artists is performing at the halftime show, that's an added plus, because those who aren't necessarily, as he said, interested in the sport can tune in. So it's them trying to capitalize on, you know, the opportunities there. How do you see it?
Yeah, I think so, especially being in America. You know, you're trying to capitalize on all the advertising, you know, revenue that you can generate, and all the companies that are there as well. You know, they want to put their foot forward. In other parts of the country, world, obviously it's different. However, in America, that's part of the norm when you come to big events, right? They want to show their products on the stage, on the big stage. And how to go about doing that is by doing it at a halftime show. You could have the performers, they're doing out new albums, whatever it may be. This is their opportunity to advertise to the world, because you go in, billions of people seeing this spectacle, right? The best show on earth. So yeah, it's a great moment, and they're capitalizing on it and utilizing it to their advantage. As you can see, you see Beckham in almost every ad there is on the show, right? So he's utilizing these moments, and that's what it's all about. So you got to make sure that you monetize your opportunity when you get it, and he's doing that. So good, kudos to them.
Yeah, and the players, they're going to have to look at coming out to warm up again, given that long layoff. But I just want to go around the room really quickly and ask, which artist would you definitely show up for? Of course, we love football, but if there was an artist you had to see at the final, at the halftime show, who are you going to see, Coach Thomas?
Wow, so many great ones. so many great ones.
Quickly.
I'd love to see Beyonce though.
Coach, you don't want to see no Beyonce on the halftime. No.
I'd love to see Beyonce. Why not?
I hear you, Coach. Rashida, who are you trying to see? Because we're not trying to hear no single ladies. Anyway, go ahead, Rashida.
I mean, Beyonce has performed at a lot of Super Bowl halftime show, Coach, so you should watch it on YouTube if you're missing that. But this is not necessarily for football, but for the Super Bowl halftime show. Hear me, Jay-Z, and hear me,
Super
Apple
Bowl.
Music. A Jamaican lineup. We need that. I'm here for it.
All right, Rashida said, keep it over the Super Bowl. Azari, who are you going to see?
Thank you for, highlighting me. It's no question. Drake. No question.
Iceland.
Right? The album is fantastic.
Okay.
And
I thought he would have been performing at the final. I thought that
should have gotten him, right?
Yeah, that would have been a big moment.
For
Canada
sure,
being the host. I thought
that's a good call.
Yeah.
Maybe you should be on the marketing team. Tyrone, who are you going to see? And please don't tell me something like I don't know. Who Tyrone listen to?
I'm going to go the better half of Beyonce, Jay-Z.
Okay.
Tyrone, I think Tyrone will come with some yard man, like Buju or one of them man there.
Oh, no, Jay-Z. Jigga man.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You said something, Coach?
I'm just saying governor would be good there.
Governor, Coach. Yeah, Lily down the final, man. Yeah, Lily down the final, man, Coach. Come on, now. But yeah, the halftime, of course, it's added entertainment. Right, and added entertainment goes a far way, but 25 minutes might be a stretch.
That's
a long time.
It's too long.
And the players can be adversely affected. Tyrone, from a player's perspective, having to break for the halftime show, Jay-Z is on stage, doing his thing. Of course, he brings on some other acts, and then you're probably watching it on the screen if your coach allows you. If Pep Guardiola's in the dressing room, there's no TV in there. But you have to come out and to refocus and go out there and perform and to warm up once again. How hard would that be though?
Yeah, it would be difficult. It'd be a challenge. It's like you using it, for example, you have a weather delay, right? You go in at halftime and for some reason there's a lightning storm or something like that, you get a 30-minute delay. So it just now, how can you utilize that moment, maybe refocusing, getting a few more hydration, in your system and, again, just rethought, refocus and get going. But yeah, it's a little bit difficult to get back into that rhythm. If you have a good trainer that can get you going, get you ready, I think that will be, the way to go. But yeah, it's a difficult task, but you have to get back up to speed and up to rhythm if you want to, come out the second half and perform at the top level.
Yeah, I just want to remind you, Tyrone, you kind of disappointed me now because I didn't expect Jay-Z. I was thinking more Beanie Man, Sean Paul, your speed.
Yeah, no, Jay-Z, man, Jay-Z.
All right, yeah, you're fully Americanized now.
I was gonna say Bad Bunny, but
get coach off the screen right now. Get coach off the screen. Get Tyrone Marshall off the Fan Central Extra Time screen, please. No, Tyrone, we hear you. And we want to, bring it back in because unfortunately we are out of time here on Fan Central Extra Time. Let's just take a look at the matches for tomorrow before we go. So the matches for tomorrow, we can expect Czechia going up against South Africa. Both teams looking to secure a much needed point or points for their campaign. We also can expect Mexico taking on Heung-min Son and Korea. Raul Jimenez against Heung-min Son. That one is going to be an exciting one. We can expect that. And then, of course, Granit Xhaka. They take on Bosnia and Edin Dzeko. And that's a good match for the neutral and for anybody who loves football. And then we round it out with Alphonso Davies. Will he play? Will he not? He wants to play. Will Jesse Marsh put him in? We're going to find out. Against Qatar. Lopetegui. He's on his redemption arc after getting that 1-1 draw against Switzerland. So you can tune in for those whenever you can. And you can, tune in to Fan Central Extra Time for all the analysis, all the banter, and all the fan reactions. And maybe, just maybe, we might see Mashkan on the show tomorrow. Mashkan, I know you're watching, so I have to big you up. As well, if you think you know football, tune in. You can call in to our WhatsApp number there. You can send a WhatsApp 876-833-0897. Fan Central Extra Time is every night until the World Cup final. Send videos, share opinions, answer fun football questions, and guess what? News. We have giveaways, right? So you're not just coming here to contribute, you're here to get something as well. And as I mentioned, we have our beautiful sponsors, Pepsi, and also our food sponsor, Mothers. So you can expect a lot from those sponsors. And you can expect a lot from our cast here of presenters. On behalf of Coach Jermaine Thomas, of course, Rashida Murphy, our resident Portugal fan, Azari Barnett, and Tyrone Marshall, and myself, Kimani O'Sullivan, and our hardworking production crew. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. And we have to say thank you to our sponsors, Pepsi and Mothers. And that segment was brought to you by Pepsi Football Nation, where fans make the rules. Football is better with Pepsi. And remember, people, Mothers is the official sponsor of Fan Central Extra Time. And at the start and the ending of the show, we'll be reminding you because we don't want you to forget and enjoy. All right, stick around. We have more on CVM TV, or you can grab a Pepsi, grab some Mothers. I'm not sure if Mothers is still open, but we'll be with you next week. Take care. See you tomorrow.
Hydrate.
Now bandwagon to the thing, now bother switchy. Represent